Oh. Hello everyone, welcome back to JEAN 5 News. Today is June 5th, 2019.
Today we have 7 segments planned for you, and now to Ashley with our traffic report.
Now on to traffic. During the Age of Jackson, settlers began to move Midwest, and they pushed Native Americans further and further west. As a result, President Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act of 1830, even though he didn't legally have the permission to remove Cherokees from their land. He defied the Supreme Court's rulings and continued to relocate them. They went through many hardships to get to the reservations and created the Trail of Tears, the Long Walk, and many other trails. They still had to fight for themselves on the reservation itself, which included massacres and battles such as the Sand Creek Massacre, the Battle of Little Bighorn, and the battles of the Black Hills. Native American lands were beginning to become more and more valuable, and more settlers began to take the land away from them. They often committed mass murders and burned villages to scare them off of their lands. They were mainly moved to lands that weren't valuable for living on the Great Plains so that they were out of the way from the lands that were valuable for the Americans. These lands were often infertile and hard to farm off of, and it made it very hard for them to make their own food. We'll be back after this short break.
This program is brought to you by the Austin Cattle Drive.
Come on out to this weekend's cattle drive. We've got dozens of cowboys lined up to test their skills to bring your cattle down to the Austin and Northwestern Railroad.
This season, your Cowboys of Color will be working 14-hour days to bring your cattle to Austin, Texas.
They'll be caring, feeding, and even sleeping by your cows to make sure they're A-OK.
Since ranching has become more and more popular because of America's love for beef and the infertile land, cow towns and stockyards have been popping up more and more. And we're back. Right now I have 2 Pilgrim sisters, Constance and Mary Hopkins, for an exclusive interview. So, what brings you here to the beautiful land of the New World?
Well, we left because of religious persecution. Also, our family heard of the rich and plentiful land that the country has to offer.
When we were on the Mayflower, we were ecstatic to find out what the new opportunities the New World had.
Wow, that sounds exciting. How has life been so far?
Well, we just finished planting our first crop of the season with the local Native Americans.
What kind of crops did you grow?
We grow corn, lettuce, and wheat. We had so much we had a surplus for our community.
Now, what are each of your roles around the house?
I tend the vegetable garden.
Well, I gather the crops. Our father, however, hunts for us, and our mother cleans.
Well, that's all the time we have for this interview today. Now let's bring it over to Sabrina for a segment on technology.
Technology? What's technology?
plow.
Hey guys, I'm Sabrina, and I've got some of the coolest inventions from the Industrial Revolution in the 17 and 1800s. The Industrial Revolution was a period of time when predominantly agrarian and rural societies in Europe and America became industrial and urban. Many of the new inventions came out during this time period, which helped different types of occupations in both the northern and southern America. First up, we've got the power mills. Created by Edmund Cartwright in 1785, this was operated by multiple people, which was much more efficient to use than hand weaving the cloth. Then came along the textile mills, which were operated by only one person. This resulted in more productivity in textile mills and better sales and profits. Next, we've got the cotton gin. Created by Eli Whitney in 1793, the cotton gin easily separates cotton fibers from their seeds, intended to create less of a need of slaves' work. Unfortunately, this backfired on Whitney, as slave owners took advantage of this efficiency and purchased more slaves, more land, and more cotton gins to produce more cotton than ever before. The cotton gin wasn't the only amazing thing created by Eli Whitney. He also created interchangeable parts in the early 1800s. Every single gun of the same kind had the exact same parts. So if someone from one state purchased the musket, they could find the parts to fix it in another state. This amazing invention united the nation in having more guns. After that, the steamboat came along, created by Robert Fulton in 1807. These new and improved boats with steam boiler engines to power their paddle wheels were stronger and faster, as it could easily travel upstream and made transportation better and faster. Moving on, we've got the steel plow, created by John Deere in 1838. This was better than the cast iron plow, which was used by farmers before, that clumped up dirt and made it hard to use. The steel plow solved this issue as it was smooth and polished, which prevented the soil from clumping. Next up, we've got the telegraph, created by Samuel F.B. Morse, as well as the Morse code, which was sent by the telegraph to communicate with others across the country. This sped up communication and made things much better. Well, that's all we have for today. Now let's move it on to the Government Girlies for a special performance.
Hi, how are you? Welcome back to our band. We're the Government Girlies and we're singing We Are America. We're America, we're on the rise. You can count on all of us to make mistakes. Although we use the Constitution, use the AOC, now we're a stronger nation. We are America. We'll always have our way. If you think we can't, our God says anyway. That's why the people of the U.S. had rebellions from Britain to the New World and America, USA. If you could only know how our journey was when we arrived out here, from out beyond our land, we were amazed to find new opportunities, and we're not a part of you. We're not a part of you. And we're not a part of you. And we won't protect you. We are America. We'll always have our way. And if you think we can't, our God says anyway. That's why the people of U.S. had rebellions from Britain to the New World and America, USA!
Hello folks, my name is Sabrina Loda.
And my name is Natalie. Sabrina and I are here live on the scene of the Battle of Lexington and Concord.
Here you can see about 60 dead British soldiers lying on the ground of the battlefield. There has been a report of 174 wounded, 73 killed, and 26 missing British soldiers. As well as for our Patriots, we have 39 wounded, 49 killed, and 5 missing.
A witness standing nearby had told us that the battle had come from a place where only a few Minutemen had been trying to stop the British soldiers from raiding the town.
She also says that the Minutemen failed to overcome the British, so reinforcements were called in as the British got closer and closer to town.
We ended up having over 200 Minutemen, and we successfully defeated the British.
Well, that's all we have for today. Back to you.
Hi, I'm Carissa,
And I'm Aaliyah.
and today I'll be playing a twist on our normal weather segment. We'll be talking about 2 battles from the Civil War.
The Civil War had numerous factors that affected the soldiers' performances in battle. One of the biggest opponents was the weather.
Like today, the Battle of Vicksburg was extremely sunny. This made each side have good advantage. They had a good shot at both opponents.
Unfortunately, this was not the case for the Battle of Bull Run. The extreme heat and humidity had caused the soldiers to go to streams nearby. Also, dehydration was one of the biggest issues during this time.
Well, that's all for the day, guys. Back to you, Carissa.
Bob!
Where are we? Are we live? Aaliyah! Thanks, Carissa. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to JEN5. I'm Carissa.
I'm Aaliyah.
And we'll be seeing you next time.